Yeah, let's get right to this now, and we're going to stay on this. This is a tornado warning for Chatham County. Victoria and I will help guide you through this. So Victoria's going to head over to our chat to get a little more information set up here. And what we will do here is take a look at the tornado watch. That's for everyone until 1 a.m. So this is a warning that we have out there right now for our area. And you're hearing the warnings go off here with our phones right now at WJCL 22. So hopefully you have a way that you're getting these alerts too. So if that goes off again, you can just kind of throw that into the other room. All right, let's take you through this here and show you the warnings that we have right now. And that warning is for Chatham County. Right now, we are the first station on giving you this potentially life-saving information. And this is a rotation that is off from the coastline right now, approaching Tybee Island right here, Chatham County. So we're at about 413. And this tornado warning goes until 4:45. So a little closer inspection. We can do all kinds of things here to keep you safe. And we're going to zoom in on this and show you exactly kind of where that rotation is at, because it's going to start nearing the Tybee Island area first. It's very likely just offshore. So we're going to turn the radar back on here for 1 second, and then we will do an x-ray of the storm. So when we do the x-ray, what we are going to do is show you where that rotation is at. So right now, very likely somewhere in this vicinity right here, so nothing that really jumps out. So this is radar indicated rotation, so I would not try to go look for that, because what's happening is these are embedded within this huge area of rain right now, and this tornado warning goes until 4:45. So initially the coastal areas would be the main threat, and then if you're on Wilmington Island, Whitmarsh Island, Isle of Hope, the east side of Savannah, downtown Savannah, Ardsley Park, Midtown, South Side, and then if it would hold together, even into Pooler, Garden City, maybe even up around Port Wentworth. This is something we're going to be watching here very closely at WJCL 22. So Tybee Island looks like they trimmed this just a little bit here, so this is kind of where it's angled. A little bit of Tybee Island is clipped here. Certainly, though, this is aimed right at Chatham County, and this warning goes until 4:45. So let's put this velocity on here one more time, and we can see, I believe this is the area right here, so we'll kind of circle this. And Victoria, if you want to jump in anytime, feel free. If you have any additional information, I know you're looking at some radars off to the side.
The radars, it's a little bit hard to see the velocity, but to give people a better perspective, they're saying the thunderstorm, again, it's radar indicated, was located over Wausau Island. So it's a little bit hard to see the rotation on the camera, but near Wausau Island, and it's moving northwest at 55 miles per hour. So these are moving fairly quickly.
All right, so I just circled Wausau Island. So anyone that's had a beach day out at Wausau, you know kind of where you're at there, coastal Chatham County. And the brighter colors here do indicate faster wind speeds, and this is towards the radar. This one is away. So this is the vicinity we're looking at right now. So the tornado at the moment, not over downtown, it's not over Pooler, it's not over the south side. This is the rotation, and typically when you have these tropical systems, these are quick spin-up tornadoes. There may even be a water spout out here right now because it appears it's still just off from the coastline. So a water spout that touches land, that's known as a tornado. So that's why you see this tornado warning issued here for Chatham County. It goes for another about 29 minutes. So it's 4:16. This goes until 4:45. And certainly here at WJCL 22, your safety is priority number one. We are always on during these tornado warnings, and we will stay on to give you the very latest. So again, this does cover parts of Tybee Island, especially down on that south end by the Back River area. And then as we go into Wilmington Island, if we could start getting some DOT cameras up, I know our Thompson Savannah camera, maybe we can turn that. Even the Hilton Head camera, that would be pointed kind of down in this direction. So if we can start getting some cameras up, that would be great. We want to show everyone the visuals of this storm and sort of let everyone know what is going on here across our area. So the warnings, once again, if you're within these red lines, tornado warning goes until 4:45. So if we put this into motion right now, maybe we can do a split screen with our Tybee camera that's about to come up. just to show everyone, there it is. So the winds have definitely picked up. We also have a reporter out there on Tybee Island. Number one, we want to make sure they're safe, but they are just sort of on the edge of this tornado warning, and we think the circulation here should stay just to the south of Tybee. So if she has an update out there, certainly get her on the phone, maybe just take her camera live. We can talk over that. But winds are really ramping up on Tybee Island. And here's why. You're getting one of those thunderstorm squalls with this tropical system with Debby running right over the island. So take a look there on the left-hand side of the screen. Those are some wind gusts that could easily be tropical storm force right now. Not necessarily saying per se that that would be the tornado, because we think it's a little bit closer to the rotation nearing Wausau Island, but again, not far from Tybee, so a little bit south of there. Coastal Chatham County, you're the main threat right now. If you're in Wilmington Island, Whitmarsh Island, Isle of Hope, there's a pretty fast mover. I would be taking your tornado precautions right now. Get away from windows, put as many walls between you and the outside of your home as possible. And don't go look for this, because this would very likely be a rain-wrapped tornado. Right there is our camera on as you head into Tybee Island, Highway 80 there. You can see very limited traffic. And besides the tornado threat, there could start to be some pretty extensive street flooding that gets going as we have these tropical downpours across the area. We saw a measured rain total in Ardsley Park already of 3 inches, and that was over a pretty short amount of time. So let's stop the radar here for just a second. You can keep those cameras up if you would like, and we'll put the warning back up, and then we'll do that x-ray of the storm once again. I just want to continue to give everyone the latest information, the tornado warning. It's 4:18, almost 4:19. Goes until 4:45, so we'll be on the entire time. And in maybe just a couple minutes here, I'll toss it over to Victoria, and she can kind of go through what the National Weather Service may be saying. But let's do that little x-ray of the storm once again, and that gives us a very good idea of what we're looking at here. Now, if anything jumps out to us, I'm going to circle a couple areas here, and certainly, Victoria, you can jump in at any time. But right there near Wausau Island, a little circulation. Another one, I don't know if this is what prompted the warning, but there's another circulation there. So I think what we need to do is get down very close, show you some of the communities within the path of this tornado. What's the movement on this right now?
It's moving northwest at 55.
Okay, did they mention Montgomery at all? Because there's a little blip that could be some stronger winds in the Montgomery area.
They did mention Montgomery. So Montgomery, Garden City, Port Wentworth, and then they move up towards Hardyville and Bloomingdale.
Okay, so when this was offshore, we were noticing multiple circulations with this. So I think it's definitely possible that this tornado warning could have a couple areas, one near Wausau. This one has some brighter winds, so even if they're not tornadic, I would say in Montgomery, take your tornado precautions. You're in the warning, but get away from the windows. Don't go peeking out there, because this could obviously be downing some branches, maybe some tree limbs as it goes through with some gusty winds, and you don't want those flying around. You're taking a look outside the window. So what you're looking at right now is radar winds. Think of that as an x-ray. And also, we still have some pretty strong winds out on Tybee Island. Again, if we have any type of live access to our reporter out there, if someone could communicate with me here and let me know, that would be awesome. So right there's Tybee Island. You have some heavy rain. Look at that splashing up there. That roadway right now, with all this heavy rain, definitely some standing water there. So this is another reason why we don't really want people out driving around this afternoon, is roadways are starting to get some huge puddles, flooding in some instances. So here's Tybee right now. So most of Tybee Island, you're just on the edge of this warning, and we showed you that the circulations here are a little bit farther inland. So I'm going to back the view out because this is very important for all of Chatham County right now. We've identified where the circulations are at. Let's put the movement on this, and as of right now, this is radar indicated. So this is a radar indicated tornado right now, and certainly it could produce a very fast spin-up tornado. These tropical systems, a little bit unpredictable. They're just quick hitters with some of that rotation. And I would not even be surprised if we see additional little spin-ups here along this line that is just offshore. So even if parts of Tybee Island are not in this tornado warning, there's really a chance that we could see this line spawn additional warnings here, like in Jasper, Beaufort counties, Hilton Head Island. You need to watch this very closely. Have multiple ways to get these warnings. So let's get the warning back up there and keep everyone updated. So the very latest now, this tornado warning for Savannah, Whitmarsh Island, Wilmington Island, Isle of Hope, down here on the south side, Montgomery, also includes Pooler, Port Wentworth, Garden City, and Vernonburg. So these are locations right now you should be taking your tornado precautions. This little spin up here is working its way inland. So it originated out over the Atlantic, and this rotation now is tracking its way off to the north and west. So it's almost paralleling or very close to it, I-16, and crossing in that direction. So I want to continue to do little x-rays of the storm here, and I can circle that circulation for you, and then we'll get a little bit closer in. Victoria, what did you say the very latest movement was? Northwest
at 55 miles per hour. Looks like the best rotation right now is near Montgomery.
Okay, so let's just get right down there. In Montgomery, you went through this here a couple Fridays ago. We had tornado warnings down in that part of Chatham County, as we had some very powerful storms start to move in late that Friday afternoon into Friday evening. So you were taking tornado precautions here very recently, and in the Montgomery area right now, this is the same location that we were talking about very recently. So you've had a couple tornado warnings here just within about the last week. So we need to watch this closely. I'm going to back the view out just one little bit because we're starting to see a little bit on the radar here, and that is a tremendous amount of rain on Tybee Island right now. So you're looking at Tybee, probably Highway 80. What's that restaurant right there?
Sharkies?
Is it Stingrays?
Stingrays,
I think. So right, it's hard to see because there's so much rain coming down. I can't really see the building too well. So Vernonburg right in here, Forest River Farms, Windsor Road, if you're in that part of Chatham County, that's where this little circulation is at. So far it's radar indicated, but really at any second we could see a quick spin-up tornado. That's why the National Weather Service issued this tornado warning for Chatham County. So we're going to back the view out here once again, just to give everyone a little bit better lay of the land. We'll put the traditional radar view on. Actually, let's do this. Let's do a debris tracker here. Nothing, at least at this second, really jumping out at me at the moment. I mean, that area, but I think that's a little disjointed from where the circulation is at. And so far, this is just radar indicated, correct? Yes. Okay.
So far, radar indicated. I mean, with it though too, I was watching the winds. Tybee and towards Savannah have had wind gusts now nearing 30. So outside the warning, the winds are starting to definitely pick up.
Okay. If you want on your weather computer, maybe let's bring the wind gusts map up, and then if it looks impressive or worth showing, we'll definitely take that. We also have a tornado watch for coastal Georgia, the low country. It goes all the way till 1 a.m. So this is something we'll be tracking through the late afternoon into the evening hours, the potential for these thunderstorms moving onshore, producing some very quick spin-up tornadoes. And right now, the areas in red here, if you're within those red lines, that is a tornado warning, and it is for the Chatham County area. It does go into a little bit there of coastal areas of Jasper County and then pushing inland right towards I-95. So if you know anyone traveling north or south on I-95, the circulation is still sort of over the south side of Savannah, maybe Midtown area, could have some of those rotating winds. And we always do the X-ray because that way we can point out to you where the circulation is at. So I think the most obvious one, or the one that they prompted the tornado warning, is down here on the south side of Savannah. So that would be headed towards like 204, I-95 area if it continues moving off to the northwest. So this is such a fast mover, northwest at 55 miles per hour. It's not going to be over any one location for any length of time. Even though this does not show circulation with it, I'm going to put the radar traditional view back on here for you because this is a tremendous amount of rain. If we can put that Debby camera back up on the split screen, let's just do that because there's going to be some tropical storm force wind gusts and rainfall rates that may be 2 to 4 inches per hour. So look at that out there on Debby Island right now. Again, that is just one of these heavy tropical squalls moving in along those outer bands with Debby. So yeah, we are definitely feeling some of the impacts now. We're working into what will be a period that goes from now through Monday evening, Monday night, through about midday on Tuesday, where we are going to see weather conditions really go downhill. Flooding will be a #1 concern for us. The threat of isolated tornadoes. The tornado watch goes until 1 a.m. So we're thinking if we can get through this evening, maybe part of tonight, tornado threat will start to go down, but definitely not the case right now. So let's get to a little X-ray of the storm once again. Nothing has really changed with that. And if there's any storm reports that come in, certainly let us know, Victoria. How are the winds right now?
No storm reports coming in. The wind gusts right now looks like on Debby just clocked in around 25 miles per hour. Savannah had one at 26. But near that midway, we can see the winds are starting to pick up. Midway just had a wind gust of 30. So as that center kind of gets closer, we're definitely seeing the winds pick up quite a bit. Nearing tropical storm force, but Hinesville just had one at 30 as well.
Okay,
so
and I know one of our weather spotters who was communicating to us with some weather information earlier was down on President Street, headed to Debby Island, said there was a lot of water standing on the roadway. Some people had to get over into one lane to get around some of those deeper puddles. And right now on Debby Island, we saw our camera along Highway 80. It's probably just a few inches of water, but if you're in a real flood-prone area or a low spot on Debby Island, that water is probably rising very quickly. These rainfall rates right now are looking like about 2 to 4 inches per hour. Not saying you're going to get 4 inches, but if this is over your area, even for a half hour, just trim that to 1 to 2 inches of very fast rain. And also, that's a wind-driven rain, as the wind gusts at least 20 to 30 miles per hour. And within this band, very likely going to see some tropical storm force wind gusts, which are right around about 40 miles per hour. Now, how about that threat of the circulation? Let's kind of go through that and take a look at the velocity. And I want to loop this just to point out here kind of how this has progressed over time down on the south side of Savannah. Is currently at, if you're up here in this part of Jasper County, Savannah River, far northern areas of Chatham County, at the moment, I think your tornado threat's a little bit lower. That circulation, for the most part, has been hugging about the southern third of this tornado warning down in Chatham County. Very fast-moving storm, though, so maybe that's a good thing. Hopefully, the velocity begins to weaken with this, but I would say somewhere down in this. Okay, somewhere down in this vicinity here, you get just to the south of Forest River Farms. That's the area that we've been indicating the rotation is most likely at. So we're thinking down here, getting close to Highway 17 now. Veterans Parkway right in here. Here we are in Chatham Parkway. This is near I-95 in Chatham County. So just some rainy conditions out there at the moment. So that's near I-95. I think the worst of the weather, though, definitely still off to the east. So if we still have that Debby camera, let's get the Debby camera back up. The one that showed the street view, because it gave a great representation of kind of what we are looking at on Highway 80 as you drive onto Debby Island. So back the view out here. Looks like the radar updated. So a little better news for our friends down in Vernonburg and Montgomery. That cell has pushed its way a little bit off to the west. It's not going to stay over one location for very long because we do have winds right now at, or movement northwest 55 miles per hour, and certainly some gusty winds accompany this tornado warning. So the wider view here right now, if you're down in that southern area of the county, conditions are starting to look a little bit better. That rotation right there, it appears that it has updated. So yeah, it is getting a little closer to I-95. It doesn't look too ominous, we'll say that, but certainly radar indicated tornado, need to watch that. I might zoom down by Tybee Island because that is clearly where some of the strongest winds are being indicated on radar. These may not be circulating, but these winds right here, I would think, Victoria, these are probably like 40 plus miles per hour. That's pretty bright green, and that is an onshore wind right now. The green indicates winds towards the radar. The radar location's in northern Jasper County in the low country. So these are onshore winds coming right at the island with a round of some very heavy rain. So it's great that we can do some of this, we have time to do some of this storm analysis and look at how rough that surf is right now out on Tybee Island.
It looks like, Jeremy, looking at my radar here in the Weather Center, a wind gust near about 40 miles per hour heading on towards Tybee Island right now. It's looking like it's starting to pick up. It clocked in at 38, but now we're seeing about 40 miles per hour, so it is getting stronger.
All right, so we want to highlight a couple locations here. We think that leading edge of the wind probably pushing over Tybee right now, maybe working its way closer to the Bull River Bridge area, and then Wilmington Island, if you're in this area right now. Also, let's start to monitor power outages across the area because I think that's going to be a key. People are going to start losing power as these winds ramp up. And even if we see winds of 40 miles per hour or higher, some of those gusts can bring down the tree limbs, the branches, and we know around here with so many trees, that's when we oftentimes start to lose power. So Wilmington Island right now, torrential rain, also the potential that you could have some wind gusts, tropical storm force in your area. Why we are highlighting this area in red, though, let's back this out because that is a tornado warning, and that warning goes about another 10 minutes, and then we'll get a good indication here very soon if the National Weather Service thinks that they are going to extend that or let the warning expire, or maybe transition more to like a severe thunderstorm warning. So we will have to keep an eye on that. So within the red lines right now, I would say the biggest area of concern, at least what prompted this warning, was a little bit of rotation, but it's now more into this vicinity here. And we can give you a little more detail on that because we'll go here with our velocity. Yeah, still looking at this area down here, southern part of the warning, quickly moving to the northwest. The rotation is not as pronounced as it was a little bit earlier. And then we start to look offshore. I would say maybe that's an area to watch, but that is tracking, again, more to the northwest, so that would head towards like Beaufort County area. Live look outside right now, I believe that is right near Hotel Tybee, so you can see it's windy out there, but you would expect that with the impacts from a tropical system starting to move in. The thunderstorm passing by Tybee Island doesn't look like as much rain there, so the torrential, really heavy rain was probably within about the last 10 to 20 minutes. That may be working its way from the island closer to Wilmington Island, maybe Tulahi, and Oatland Island could be seeing those heavier downpours start to move in. But if you get caught under these, that is almost an instant about inch or two of rain. And this is what we're going to continue to deal with in terms of impacts from Debby, is just this sort of like nonstop. Here comes a heavy band of rain, maybe a break, then another one. And the worst of the conditions are, for the most part, like now through this evening and tonight for coastal Georgia and the low country. And then we start to add in a little bit more wind as we head through late this evening, tonight, and about midday on Tuesday. That's when some of the wind gusts at the coastline could be topping 50 miles per hour. There's a whole lot of rain still to come. And I'm going to back the view out here because we have the tornado warning that looks like it's radar indicated. I promise you we'll get back to that here in just a second, but I want to show everyone while I have a second kind of what's coming here. So right here we can take the Jacksonville radar. The main center of Tropical Storm Debby somewhere in this vicinity right here. Just think of it very close to the state line. It's going to track its way off to the northeast and then off to the east, but this huge area of torrential rain that will be producing the threat of flash flooding across our area. You're looking at Victory Drive at Waters right now, and with some of that rain starting to continue its way into the Savannah area, we'll start to see more roadways that are flooded around here. So back into this area right now, and we'll get down closer once again, and then we'll see if that circulation has exited Jasper and also into Chatham County. There's a little bit of Bryan County right here. If you live on the north side of Richmond Hill, you're in the warning, but we think that a lot of the rotation has now weakened quite a bit, so certainly that's some good news. It's nasty outside, though. You don't need any type of spin-up tornado just to have a nasty drive right now. We're advising people, if you can, just hang out at home tonight. Tomorrow morning, doesn't look like we'll have the greatest of weather conditions, but look at that vehicle there. I believe maybe that sort of the right-hand side of Victory Drive, seeing some standing water or flooding starting to develop as that heavier rain certainly starts to move in. With our tornado warning, that was the circulation that prompted the warning, and this is tracking its way to the northwest very fast at about 55 miles per hour. So it's going to be hopping over I-95. We're hopeful that that continues to weaken. And any indication right now if they're going to allow the warning to expire?
They haven't given us any update whatsoever on the. Oh, sorry. They just did. They are allowing the tornado warning to expire. And to jump back to what you were saying moments ago, I looked up the outage map across the area, and it's definitely following that tornado warning. It looks like we have plenty of power outages towards Montgomery, Isle of Hope, and Wilmington Island, where we're seeing those strongest winds and those heavier bands of Debby move on right now. So we'll continue to see that through the rest of the evening. But we are getting some flood reports on the roadways towards portions of Savannah. It looks like White Bluff Road at Johnson Street vehicle is stuck in the water, so we are seeing flooded roadways outside of this tornado warning, but the tornado warning is expiring at 4:45.
Okay, so we have about another 6.5 minutes of the tornado warning. We'll definitely stay on until the all clear is given, but in the meantime, what we want to do is, if we have our Thompson Savannah cameras, some of the heaviest rain that we've seen the entire day is down on River Street right now. So if we can take our downtown Savannah camera right now, we'd be able to see just those torrential downpours coming down. And if we look from the top of the Thompson Savannah, we can look right down Bay Street, and we're able to see just some of that torrential rain, probably the vehicle starting to slow there, a little bit of standing water, and then off in the distance, sometimes we can't even see the Talmadge Bridge. So if anyone in back has the Thompson Savannah camera ready to go, there we go. Just sheets of rain right now, and there it is. Yeah, I was suspecting that with how heavy this rainfall rate is right now over River Street. I can't even see the Talmadge Bridge off in the distance, which typically very easy to spot. Now for east side of Savannah, this is that area that was over Tybee Island. Also some gusty winds associated with that. Look at our camera downtown. Probably going to start seeing some wind gusts, maybe 35, potentially 40 miles per hour with this, and just buckets of rain. So River Street right now, you're getting slammed by some of these heavy downpours and also the gusty winds. Now remember, this is just really the initial start of the impacts from Debby. We're expecting at least 12 hours, potentially 18 hours of some high impact weather for our area. Initially, it's torrential downpours, the isolated tornado threat. We're thinking this tornado warning is going to be allowed to expire here. We're going to stay on top of that, but the rotation that prompted the warning has diminished somewhat. So our impacts, number one right now, since the tornado warning is going to be expiring, is flooding is likely developing right now in Savannah. And we think at some point there will be a flood warning or a flash flood warning issued for parts of our metro area. So we have to watch that very closely. If we have our Harbortown Lighthouse camera ready to go, some of the heaviest rain they've had the entire day moving over Harbortown and Sea Pines right now. And that area, we know there's lots of low-lying shoreline areas there at our coastline, so probably tough to get around in some of these areas as the water levels are beginning to rise here across not only Chatham, but also Jasper and now into Beaufort County. So torrential rains on Hilton Head Island. You're not in a tornado warning. That tornado warning was prompted here for coastal Chatham County, and that circulation is diminishing very quickly, and the National Weather Service, the good news, said the tornado warning is going to be allowed to expire at 4:45, but the concerns don't go away. They just transition to a different impact, and it's flooding rains that we have here across parts of our area. We can hear the rain just pouring down on our rooftop here along Chatham Parkway, and anyone that commutes around Savannah, you can just start in your mind, start to think, okay, I know Broad Street, the water's starting to rise, I know Gwinnett Street, I know Victory Drive, so it gets tougher and tougher to start to maneuver around, and that's why hopefully you can just hold tight at home as we get through the impacts that we have from Tropical Storm Debby across our area. Just a whole wave of rain moving across from our islands towards east side of Savannah. President Street right now, on a good day, there's puddles on that, so right now I know some of those lanes are just completely covered in water, and then that's riding its way right through River Street and downtown Savannah. You're looking at the live cam currently towards River Street and downtown Savannah. So Victoria, anything new with the reports, whether it's flooding or updates on that tornado warning?
No updates on the tornado warning. They just said the rotation has weakened below severe limit, so they are going to allow it to expire in the next 3 minutes. And the latest update that we had from flooding was in Savannah. There is a vehicle stuck in the water on, it looks like White Bluff Road at Johnson Street. So we are starting to see the really strong impacts from Debby make their way on towards southeast Georgia and the low country outside of that tornado warning. If you're seeing flooded roadways, make sure to avoid them, turn around, or if you can, just stay indoors for the rest of the evening. And we'll continue to see this heavy rain through Tuesday. And we're watching those bands spin on air, Jeremy, like we're talking about. Those isolated tornadoes are definitely possible. And the tornado watch is still in place through about 1 a.m.
Yeah, the tornado watch right before this tornado warning was issued was just expanded until 1 a.m. So we have lots of hours ahead, a long night ahead of us. I know a lot of people are anxious. We've had some floods here recently in the Savannah area, and if you do live in a flood-prone area, and we get in one of these breaks, we are going to see a couple breaks develop. One of those may start to spin over our area over the next 1 to 2 hours. And if you do have a break and it's safe to go outside in front of your home, if you have a drain out there, make sure there's not debris blocking that. So that is a good thing to do. Just try to get the debris away from it. Hopefully the water can be absorbed down the drain when the next round of torrential rain moves in, because this is not the only round that we're going to be seeing here. We have a long late afternoon, evening, night ahead of us. The winds are going to start picking up across the area. And here we go with the radar loop, and there goes the initial round of torrential downpours. And all of this, as we showed you earlier, circulating around Tropical Storm Debby. So there goes one sort of wall of water, a little bit of a break, but notice how other areas of rain and mini downpours start to develop behind it. So McIntosh County right now, around Townsend, coastal Liberty County, you're seeing a nice break in the rain. May not last very long, because the next area that moves in for you this evening is going to be accompanied by 40 to 50 mile per hour winds. So we're watching for the flash flood threat across our area. We still have a forecast of 8 to 15 inches of rain pretty much area wide, and 1 or 2 spots that could have isolated higher totals. We think the higher total threat may shift a little bit to the north of the Savannah River, but anyway you look at it, lots and lots of rain, about a foot of rain or even more in some spots across our area. So it just touched 4:45. Tornado warning was allowed to expire, so I think what we'll do here is just pause for a second. We'll take a little bit of a break. We'll get reorganized because we have a whole lot to talk about weather-wise to keep you and your family safe as we head through the impacts from Tropical Storm Debby. We will be right back.